Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Newsgram. You know, it was 20 years ago when I first felt the call of the mountains. Growing up in the Midwest, there was always something magical about traveling west. I don't know, maybe it was growing up with all those spaghetti westerns, but the West was just so different than the flat Midwest I grew up in. For one thing, it was more dangerous. Plants and animals that can live in such a harsh climate, well, they are not to be trifled with. But the beauty is beyond measure. Watching the sun fade behind a backdrop of majestic mountains, well, it can put your soul to rest. And it's no wonder there are so many retreats and salons and rehab centers out here. There are also a lot of mineral mines. Arizona, where I now live, is the copper state, but you've heard about the gold rush, haven't you? Back in 1848, it brought hundreds of thousands of people to the west, and the mountains and the climate continue to do that work today.
When I was younger, I was in the minerals field, and I used to travel a lot in South America and through Peru and Chile and Argentina. And I got to see a lot of different places and very beautiful places, interesting places, and places that are never visited by tourists.
That is Luis Rousset, a 1971 PhD graduate in mineral engineering from Stanford University. Throughout his career, he has traveled through the mining areas of Arizona, California, and Utah, as well as those he just mentioned in South America. And it was there that he found inspiration for his new book, The Cordillera, which is Spanish for mountain range. In fact, let me be even more specific. It was a small village in the Argentinian Patagonia where he found his inspiration.
And I started writing about this young man and the mountain range of the Cordillera. It represents a kind of a challenge for a young person who must conquer. So I decided to give the book the title of Cordillera, although it takes place not only in Argentina, but in many other places.
The young man he mentioned is Jacques Laurent, the main character of the story.
Jacques Laurent. Yeah, okay, Jacques Laurent.
Now, let's talk more about Jacques as a character. A young boy whose first challenge is to conquer a mountain, the Fitzroy.
It's too difficult. You must be a really, really good rock climber to go up the Fitzroy. I've done some of the easier climbs, but not Fitzroy itself. Fitzroy, it's very, very tough. So I wanted to start the book in a situation that finally Jacques had finally conquered the Fitzroy. So he had achieved this. And he says, look, I'm not even 17 and I have already done that. So this is the opening of the book. This guy promises a lot. So he's an achiever.
Just to give you a little backstory here, El Chatin, and I think I'm saying that right, El Chatin, it's the national capital of trekking in Argentina. It's very popular, and it's stunningly beautiful, and it has some of the toughest mountains to climb anywhere in the world. Luis takes us into this world right away with intense physical hiking, rock climbing, and traversing of slopes. The hero here is Jacques, an overachiever who is fit and determined. Well, naturally, he finds love.
It starts with that mountain climbing and then with the fortuitous meeting of that Russian lady that comes there. She's a Russian agent and she kills an Argentinian policeman. And she decides to take refuge in this farm that belongs to Jacques' uncle. The uncle gets a little bit annoyed because he says, well, Dad is in trouble because you killed the policeman. The guys are going to find you, are going to track you down. So they decided to say, okay, you have to go away. The best way to go is to cross to Chile. And this boy, Jacques, he helps this girl to cross over. And on the night before she takes off, she takes a plane out of Chile and back home. They have an affair.
Romance aside, there is a great deal of adventure in this story, from saving missionaries in Central America to rescuing people in the deep Amazon forest. You could say Jacques has had his hands full. He fights a ruthless gang of criminals and he chases terrorists in the Middle East.
The book is divided by stories. It all goes together because all the stories are connected by Jacques. Because when he becomes a member of the French intelligence, DGSE, he starts being sent to do all these adventurous things. Has a problem to solve, they send Jacques.
That's a pretty good way to sum it up. When there is a problem, they send Jacques. And if you like adventure, courage, and stories about international intrigue, then I think you're going to enjoy the Cordillera. Dr. Luis Rosette began writing novels as a hobby, born out of his extensive knowledge of different places and cultures. The Cordillera is his fourth novel, and you can learn more about all of them by visiting his website, luisrosette.com. I'll spell it real quick, LuisRosset.com. And there you can read the Cordillera in both English and French, and you can check out his other novels. Thanks for listening to this edition of Newsgram from webtalkradio.com.